Hello YouTube, Jared back with another video for you. I have been hard at work for the last couple weeks, but I have had time in between all my other life and projects to get some more modeling done, and so I've done some painting, but I've done a lot of modeling. And one of the things that I finally just about finished now is my second half of the Imperial Fists. And so if you've seen my previous videos, I had 1,000 points roughly of Imperial Fists, and I really wanted to take the list to 2,000 points. And I now have all the models refurbished and built to take this to well over 2,000 points. This is looking like a 2,600 point list at the moment. But some things are still subject to change. But here's where the list kind of stands right now, and who knows what the points will be in the next edition. But if you saw my previous stuff, my first 1,000 points was mostly the Dawn of War board game and the magazine. So the Combat Patrol magazine, which is essentially a spin-off of the Leviathan magazine. So a lot of those models, a lot of heroes. And so I also added Darnath Lysander. So I had too many heroes and not enough troops. So this side of the force is designed to counter that by adding a lot more troops to balance out all the heroes. And so I had to be very careful as I constructed this list in terms of making sure that I actually have enough troops that can take or be taken by the right number of heroes. And so this should round things out. I'm expecting that who takes what will change slightly in the new edition. So I might change this list up a little bit, but we'll get to that in a second. Let me walk you through what I've built and got. Half of this is refurbished stuff that I got in trade lots, so I didn't have much control over what I got, but what I picked out of the trade lots and earmarked as Black Templar or as Imperial Fist in this case. And then I did get the Combat Patrol. So you'll recognize Squad of Terminators. We got the Heavy Intercessors, the regular Intercessors, and then the Captain and his squad of heroes here as well. And so those are all right out of the Combat Patrol for Imperial Fists. And then the rest of it is all stuff I added. So I got a Vindicator Tank, which felt like the right tank for the Imperial Fists. And this tank was in good condition. It was just missing this top guy and the rocket launcher. I found those in a bits box, and I was able to replace those. So here's the Vindicator Tank, the Hammerfall Bunker, everybody's favorite miniature that apparently very few people actually take. So I'm excited to do this one. I built it so long ago, it's already a little dusty, so I need to dust it before I paint it, apparently. Look at that. But this guy I've had sitting on top of the very, very tippy top of my shelf for a while now. Excited to paint it. Hopefully it has good rules next edition. And then built up my my captain. Gave him the custom pauldron and the plasma pistol. Excited about him. He was a lot of fun to build. My favorite kits by far are the kits that give you modularity and say, here's a body, here's some heads, here's some arms, and build your own dude. That's my favorite stuff. I really don't love the monopose kits near as much, but it is sometimes nice to be able to not have to come up with a new idea every time and just kind of go on autopilot and build. I have a Tech Marine here. He'll be keeping the Dreadnought alive as well as the tank. I have the Biologist, which is interesting because he was in Leviathan, and this is one of the few minis that I was missing that wasn't in the magazine. So it was nice to get a medic for this team. And then, if you saw my other video, I have 15 Terminators plus the original 5. And so this will give me a full 20 block of Terminators. And I thought about maybe I should save some of these for like Blood Angels or something, but I don't know. I love the idea of having this many Terminators. And so the fresh ones got the Imperial Fists insignias. These are going to be, probably give them to Darnath Lysander as his special guys. And then I have another block that's the restored ones. And if you saw the video, which I had a lot of people watch the video, I turned a captain into a sergeant, and then I turned a librarian into a flamer Terminator. And so these guys came out really well. They're half kit bash and half extra parts. These came out well. They'll be leading this massive refurb squad, and that'll be a 10 block. They'll be leading into battle as well, and they were a lot of fun to build. So go and watch that video if you haven't already. I have the little drop things for the squads, the 10 squad and the 5 squad. And then I decided, I was going back and forth and thinking about it, that you know what would be really fun? What if I put a banner on all of the Terminators? So all of the Terminator Sergeants are going to get a banner. I had a trade lot that had tons of old upgrade sprues from previous editions. And I found all these old little banners. They're all different. So you can show you off here. But I just decided, you know what would be fun? Go for that old school Terminator Sergeant with the back banner and back banner up my Terminators. So the existing Terminator Sergeant and then these two sergeants are going to both get a banner. And I left them freestanding like this so it's easier to prime, easier to paint, and then either freehand or decal. So that'll be a lot of fun. Poor Tor Garradon's been sitting on my desk for like 6 months now, at least it feels like. He'll get done someday. He's been in previous videos, and he just didn't quite get into the last batch. And then standard intercessors, they got the shoulder pad upgrade because it fits on them, actually. They're not much to say about the standard intercessors. You know them, you love them too, hopefully. But I have to say, one of my favorite kits. And I did find this old Power Fist in my bits box. And so I figured I'd give a more custom Power Fist to the Sergeant. So he's got his fist. This guy's got a Power Fist. Somebody else I feel like I gave a Power Fist. This guy over here, the Assault Marines. Now, the Assault Marines, I did not give the custom sculpts, mostly because they were already pre-built, mostly because these are the push fit guys, but I still replaced his arm. These guys, as you can see, I stripped off some red paint. Now, most likely, they're going to be Imperial Fists. But I don't really need them. This list is already too many points. And I did get a Fire Strike turret or whatever it's called. Let me see. Fire Strike servo turret. And so I thought about, if I'm going to put it in any list, it makes the most sense with the defense boys to have a static turret. But then I also got the Hammerfall bunker, and I don't know if I want both. So I haven't decided for sure. That's not built yet. That was in another trade lot that I got recently. So I'm trying to make up my mind. You let me know. Do you think these guys also need a Fire Strike turret? Or should I just go all in on the Terminators? But I think I'm going to keep all 15 or 20 Terminators as Imperial Fists. And then these guys will probably be Fists just because I have a Judicar and a Blade Lord Ancient. And I need something for each of them. So they both need a melee squad. And so I have Blade Guard Veterans to go with the Blade Guard Veteran Ancient. So then who's going to run with the Judicar? Well, these guys right here I feel like would be a great squad for that Judicar. Because that Judicar, he needs to see some action. So I think they're going to be in this army mostly just so I can run them with the Judicar. Really take advantage of a melee option. Because especially since most of this army is guys sitting behind a wall firing heavy bolters or storm bolters or cannons or hammerfalls, I'm going to need something to go in first. Now, Terminators are going to all be deep striking. So the Terminators will deep strike in behind, and then everybody else, the heavy intercessors and the hammerfall, obviously, are going to be holding the ground. And so I need something in the middle, something to kind of be able to push out and negotiate. You know, once the Terminators will all hit the ground, somebody else needs to be able to move around and get into melee. So I think I do want to have the squad of chainswords. So the Assault Marines will probably stick around with the Judicar. And then that gives every hero somebody to command at that point. I did the math out, and it works out that everybody has a squad. I think this guy actually winds up leading the heavy intercessors because they both have Gravis armor. This guy might not have a squad, but he'll be hanging out with the tanks anyways. And then I have 3 Terminator, a Captain, a Librarian, and then Tor Garradon and Darnoth, and they can take over the Terminator squads. And then I believe actually one of them can actually go with non-Terminators. So the non-Terminator guy will be with the non-Terminators. I don't remember which one it is right now, and we'll see if the rules change anyways. But that's where this army is looking right now. It's a pretty fun force. I've also got my Aeldari almost built, so hopefully that'll be a video soon. But I'm really happy with this army list. This is going to be a lot of fun. I don't love painting the yellow, but I do have a good yellow scheme. You can see my previous video for that. So I have a pretty good scheme that gets yellow painted and smooth and not streaky. Took a few tries, but I finally got it working well, and I did buy more Imperial Fist contrast paint. I think if I remember right, it's put that over Averland Sunset, and it gives it a really obnoxiously bright yellow, so that's kind of fun. I like it a lot, but I'm excited to build more Imperial Fists, and when they're done, I'm going to be doing Black Templars, and so I have them already collected up, so they'll be coming right after that, and then that'll give me three 2,000 point lists for my Space Marines. And then I do have other Space Marine models if I get the launch box. After that, I think the plan is to start building 1,000 point lists. I'll have 3 2,000 point lists, and you can only take so many lists of 2,000 points. So after that, I think I want to start mixing it up, trying out some of the smaller chapters that I'm not as big a fan of. So I want to do like 1,000 points of Raven Guard, 1,000 points of White Scars, 1,000 points of Salamanders. Just do some little tiny squads just to paint the scheme and see what I think of them, and then that'll give me a little bit of variety and a way to use up the extra Space Marines that I got in these trade lots. So I did get a couple more trade lots that were very nice deals, and I was able to sell enough of the trade lot to get my money back, so it's essentially free models. So I think this month, April, was the best month in terms of sales. I started 1 year ago buying and selling trade lots and, looking for deals, and after doing it for a year, I had my best trades this year. So really happy to kind of celebrate that. Channel is not exactly where I wish it was, and I don't have as much time to work on the YouTube channel as much as I wish I did, but I still am here posting my successes and posting my hobby progress and keeping myself going. And I think I'll be able to get all of the models. It's just going to be, am I going to be able to build all the armies I want and have time to paint them to the standard I want? So right now, that's the big goal, but I'm just waffling on right now. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Bye.